De CFO Podcast met Bright Obeng. In deze aflevering gaat Bright langs bij Franciane Rays, CFO van marktleider BNP Paribas Fortis.
Yes, it's the biggest bank in Belgium, but it's an everyday challenge to remain the biggest bank in Belgium.
Franciane combineert de gebruikelijke zakelijke uitdagingen met een externe regelgeving.
In the new regulation, the regulator decided to put some threshold.
Which means a higher cost of capital.
Which means a higher cost of capital. I think that's the most important financial indicator is...
En Franciane weet als geen ander welke toewijding een succesvolle carrière vraagt.
When I came here for the first time, my youngest son was 13. So I transformed quantity into quality.
Okay.
This is something we can do, and I would really like to encourage women there to do it.
Franciane, it's a real pleasure being here at your offices in Brussels. I want to welcome you to the CFO Podcast. And Franciane, I brought you to our podcast to discuss something which is extremely important because you lead the biggest bank in Belgium. And how it feels to lead such a huge organization with so much impact on the Belgian economy. But I always start with the same question, Franciane. Who is Franciane? What's your story?
Yes, hello, and I'm happy to welcome you here in our office in Brussels.
Thank you.
Yes, my story, I have educational background of management school in France with a major in finance and audit. And then I started my career as an auditor and consultant at Arthur Andersen, which became EY in France, where I stayed for 15 years, working mainly for one major client, which was BNP Paribas.
Okay. Explains a lot.
Yeah. And after 15 years, I was thinking, well, actually, I want to be part of it. I want to be part of this great institution.
Okay.
And because I want to be the one who make the decision. I wanted to have an impact. And then I started my career here in BNP Paribas. And I changed position every 3 to 4 years, starting first as a project manager, always in the finance department, until I was offered the position of CFO of BNP Paribas Fortis here in Brussels.
Okay.
And that was a great opportunity for my career, but it was a tough decision. Because,
why was it a tough decision?
Yeah, because actually I had to move in Brussels, and my family was in Paris. My husband had a great job in Paris that he didn't want to quit, of course. And my children were teenagers. The eldest one was already 18, 19, so it was no option for him to follow his mom. So eventually I decided to come here on my own. So I was a bit scared at the beginning, but it was the best decision I ever made in my career because it's a fantastic job here.
Yeah.
Very exciting with a lot of challenges, super interesting. So I was very happy of my decision. And then I was repatriated back in Paris after 3 years. And the only thing I wanted was to come back here again. And so I struggled very hard to do that. And here I am. And now I want to stay here.
Yeah, season 2, we can call it.
Yeah, that's my season 2 now for
fantastic.
1 year and a half.
You've been in with the bank for quite a long time and a very long and rich career, building up to where you are today. Can you give me a few moments that have really shaped your decision-making, thinking frame as a CFO?
The reason I wanted to be a CFO is first because I like what is rigor. I like the numbers. I like to understand the business with the glasses of the financial numbers. And it's make life easier to understand. So that's the first reason. And then what I also kept from my background as a consultant at EY was a mindset that is really support-driven. I'm here to help the other moving forward, to help them reaching their targets. And this is how I see a CFO. A CFO is really a business partner.
Yes.
And all this is, of course, about teamwork, collectivity, and this is all the ingredients that you can find in a position of CFO. So the numbers, the rigor,
yes,
the support for the others, and the team playing.
Okay, makes sense. So it means that anytime you're taking a decision, you're actually putting on a service model, if I may put it that way, and also a way of making sure that from a financial business partner vantage point, you are supporting the business. Is that correct?
That's absolutely correct.
Okay.
It's not about playing with numbers. They are like they are. It's rule based. We have a very constraining regulation, and we are not playing with that.
Yeah.
But my role is really to explain the rules of the games and to try to do the best of it. So that's really how I support colleagues in the business, in the other departments.
Very, very clear to me. So Franciane, leading the biggest bank is a challenge. Let's be very, very honest. And I would like to know, first of all, how big is the bank? I know it's the biggest, but how big is it?
We have more than 10,000 employees. We have market shares above 20% in Belgium. When you compare to the three other big banks in Belgium, they total 40% for the three of them. So we are definitely a market leader.
Very clear.
In some area, almost 35% market share. So yes, it's the biggest bank in Belgium, but it's an everyday challenge to remain the biggest bank in Belgium because the competition is fierce from our traditional competitors, but also from newcomers, some niche players that are popping up, fintech that are popping up.
We'll talk about that later on.
So it's an everyday challenge to remain here.
Okay. Finance is traditionally seen as a gatekeeper of rules and compliance and making sure that things work. I think that is a core of what you do. But how do you secure that your role move further than being a gatekeeper of results to an engine of performance?
I would even say it's my primary role to be an engine of decision making, and this is also one of the reasons why I really wanted to get back this position.
You had to fight for it. I had a feeling.
Because first, I'm part of the executive committee in BNP Paribas Fortis, where we decide about the strategy. And deciding about the strategy is first having a vision. What bank do we want to be in 5 years from now, 10 years from now? How do we see the industry, the banking industry evolving?
Yes.
But then very soon come the financial targets. What profitability do we want to reach? And here I come, and that's all the exercise that we are doing with all my colleagues and all the employees of the bank to try to combine the vision and the financial ambition.
Okay, makes sense. So trying to be a finance business partner typically means you have to come very, very close to the business. But as you know, within finance, if you're too close to the business, sometimes you miss perspective. So you need to step back a bit. How do you strike the balance between coming close enough to become an amazing business partner for your colleagues, but how do you stay far enough to see the bigger picture?
I don't see these diverging views, because you have to be very close to the business to understand what they do, what their challenges are. And as I said, we are here to support them. So to explain them the rules of the game, when a new regulation comes into force, we are the expert of this new regulation, and it's up to us to explain how they will impact their business, how they will impact their profitability. And this is where we play our role. So I think that we be very close to the business is essential for our role. And the objectivity, we have them, it's in our DNA, because it's about numbers, and numbers, you don't cheat with numbers, they are like they are. Yeah. So it's quite a natural balance.
Okay, I can really understand that. Talking about numbers, the banking business is a completely different business from a traditional service or production company, right? What is on your dashboard? What are you looking at to help navigate the bank towards the short-term and the long-term goals?
I think that's the most important financial indicator is profitability. It's the return on equity. But when I say that, return on equity, you have everything inside. Yes. Because you have the return and you have the equity. Yes. Return, two main drivers are revenues. So as we said earlier, we are the biggest bank in Belgium, and it's a constant challenge to remain at this position, to keep our clients satisfied, to anticipate their needs, and to have them loyal, staying with us, offering a wide range of services. So this is really what the business are doing to keep this momentum and to continue grow our revenue baseline. Then in the return, you have the costs. And that's probably where I have the most impactful role to play, because I hold the purse strings. So it's my role to make sure that where we invest efficiently. Yes. We remain focused on the investment that have the best business case, and really be conscious of our spending. And I'm lucky that my colleagues do not hate me for all the constraints I give on the spending, but this is really something I look at very carefully. Okay. So return revenues minus cost, and then it's return on equity. And the equity is something very, very important for the bank, because our equity is imposed by the regulation. The regulator requires us to have enough capital to absorb potential high level of losses. And this is the framework, the Basel framework that you have heard about. And a new version of Basel has just come into force at the beginning of this year. And we were, BNP Paribas Fortis, strongly hit by this impact. Why so? Because so far we could rely on our internal risk model to assess the level of risk that we carry in our portfolio, in our loans. And our internal model are based on our risk appetite, on our track record, which is very good, because we are a bank which is rather
conservative?
Rather conservative in terms of credit risk taking. And in the new regulation, the regulator decided to put some thresholds. So no matter how good you have been in the past, you have to calibrate your capital for a certain level of risk, even if you have never reached that level of risk, which is not really fair for banks like ours. So we had a big increase in our capital needs, in our regulatory capital needs.
Which means a higher cost of capital.
And which means a higher cost of capital. And that had a detrimental impact on our return on equity that we will have to work on in the coming... We have already started, by the way.
Yeah. So it means typically the performance that you've shown in the past, moving forward, you need to find ways to improve that performance.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Makes sense.
But for the moment, we have tried to, we have absorbed this impact since the beginning of the year. So we will show a similar return on net equity, on nominal equity as last year. And so we are on our way to grow.
Okay, fantastic. Switching gears a bit on your role as business partner. You just explained what you focus on, return on equity, which is extremely important. But are there any leading indicators that you track on monthly, quarterly basis to see what is coming in terms of performance from the Office of the CFO?
Oh yes, we are looking at indicators every month, and these indicators we have a lot of them in our dashboards. Okay. Indicators of the activity, the level of loans, the level of deposits, the margins we do. And we are also looking at the market trends. How do the interest rates evolve? What's the expectation of the markets? So there are many ingredients, and we gather them. And I would say every quarter we make reforecast to make sure that we keep on track towards our objective. And if we deviate, we take action.
Yeah. Sure.
To come back on track.
Every major bank has long-term goals, and I can imagine that you play an important part in, first of all, establishing those goals and making sure that the team executes on them. What is the kind of role that you play within the bank in, first of all, coming up with the long-term goals and how you keep track on them?
So the role that I play, first being a member of the executive committee, is defining the strategy. But then the strategy, it's not just because the executive committee has decided that strategy that it will realize by itself. So it's of course about infusing this strategy across the organization. And that comes first with the culture. The corporate culture is the cement of the strategy. It's the ground on which you can build your strategy, and it has to be absolutely consistent with the strategy. Let me take an example.
Yes, please.
The general management decides, of a company decides that they want to be the most efficient company, to have the best low-cost service in a company where they had never been any discipline on cost, never sense of low spending, it will never happen.
No.
And the same, if we take another example about innovation, if you want to be the leader in innovation and your employee do not dare to speak up, and you need 3 or 4 layers of decision before you can decide to invest in something different, it's not going to happen. So really, corporate culture is something essential to infuse the strategy across the organization.
So you're seeing culture as really a strategic part of executing the long-term strategy.
Yes, definitely.
And how do you navigate that from the office of the CFO? Because there are other members of the ESCO who are obviously doing the same. What is your, I will call it your role as a CFO in making sure that culture is there to execute the long-term goal?
But I don't think that my role is very different from the other members of the EXCO, because the culture is something that we carry all together.
Yes.
And it's a combination of all our sensitivity. So for sure I will have a sensitivity which is more, I don't know, fact-driven or numbers-driven, but I'm also happy to integrate the vision of the others and bundle all that and infuse that to my teams and to the organization.
Okay. Technology is becoming extremely important, if I'm not wrong, in your business line of business. How do you make sure that being the market leader, you can still keep the edge within technology, and how you marry that with the culture discussion we just had?
Yes, you're right. Let me just illustrate with some numbers.
Yes, please.
Today, 64% of our clients use the app. And when I say they use the app, it's an average of 37 times a month. So it has been a complete shift from the bank we knew 10 years ago.
Yes.
Of course, technology is a big transformation, and we are only at the beginning of this transformation, because now they are navigating within the app, but tomorrow with artificial intelligence, it will be, I suppose, something completely different. They will just have an artificial agent that they will talk to in the app, and this agent will be able to execute all the transactions they desire. So it's very, very different. So yes, we need to remain very attentive to these technology transformation, very attentive to the newcomers in the market, and we have a vision. We believe that we will turn different in 5 years from now, and we are investing for that. And my role as a CFO is first to trust this vision, and I can trust it when we have a strong business case, and then make sure that we spend the money on the business case that have the best profitability at the end. And now, when you see all what is popping up with AI, there is a big temptation to try and test everything. So we do try and test a lot. We have many use cases within the bank, but then my role is to focus on what makes sense, what we are sure will make sense for the bank. And this is something in which I trust a lot. But definitely, yes, we are transforming a lot.
Yeah, that's clear. And if you look at the way the technology is moving, you might have to maybe take a few leap of faith, I would say, because on one hand you have your core business, and then you have what I would call the new technology-driven businesses coming up. Sometimes they don't have the best use cases, and yet you can feel, based on the market trend, this is where we need to go. How do you find a good balance between the business case that maybe doesn't make sense as a CFO and the common knowledge or the common agreement that this is the way we need to go? How do you facilitate that decision on the level that you're operating?
But that's being close to the business. Coming back to the discussion we had earlier, when you are close to the business, when you understand their challenges, when you understand what it is about on the ground, there you can make the right decision on this balance. Because of course, sometimes business cases are not profitable. We just need to make the investment because that's the way the market is evolving. For sure.
Absolutely. When it comes to business cases, if we shift gears a bit towards regulation and compliance, it's a license to operate, right? So business case, good or not, you have to do it. How big is your team, and how do you manage that piece of the CFO equation in your case?
Regulation is a very big part of my team and the time we spend. I would say between half and 2/3 of the work we do is for regulatory purposes. And when I say regulatory purposes, it's all the regulatory reports that we send to the supervisor on our P&L, balance sheet, on our capital, on the liquidity as well. And since 1 year, we do also have reporting on ESG. So that's also brand new. So it's always something new that we have to onboard. And yes, it takes a lot of time. And when we issue regulatory reporting, we also apply lots of control to make sure that what we issue is correct. So it's a lot of work.
Okay, I would like to. It's a trigger question. I'll put it. In terms of decision making as a CFO, it's logic that every decision that you support, it needs to have a great business case, or at least a good business case around it. But sometimes the business case can be off, but intuition-wise, you feel you need to go to the other side. How do you navigate that process that the figures are saying something else, but you feel you need to go the other way?
This is never a decision that I would make on my own. What you're describing is exactly the type of discussion that we have as a team, as an ExCo team,
Yes.
where the intuition is probably more carried by the business side and I am more into the business case. But I can trust the business. When you understand, you can trust.
Yes.
So that's how we come to a common decision,
Yes.
common
Okay.
ground. Yeah.
Okay. What is your leadership style, and what has informed that style when you look back on your career?
My leadership style, that's a good question. Would ask my teams. I think that enthusiasm, this is what I do really feel, and this is what I try to transmit to the others. I think we have the chance to work in a great firm. I'm very proud of it. And the environment is changing so quick, so there is so much to do.
Okay.
So that's enthusiasm that I want to transmit. The second thing is a collective mindset. We are stronger when we work together, bundling our expertise and our sensitivity.
Okay.
That's how we make the best decision.
Okay, makes sense. You're a female CFO, and I am extremely convinced that we don't have enough great female CFOs. But there is a saying that behind each leader, whether you're male or female, there is a support system. What is a support system that helped you to become a top CFO?
I would say there are two. Of course, the management here in the bank, they are really welcoming women. And I think that now we have reached a level where women can really find their place. We are more than welcome. And probably the most important in my personal experience is to have the support of one's family. What I can notice when I compare to my friends or other colleagues, what makes the difference is to have a husband that pushes you, that say, yes, you can do it. Don't worry about the logistic in the family. I can also handle that, but go ahead. It's your moment. You can go. And this was very, very helpful, because when I came here for the first time 7 years ago, my youngest son was 13. So he was still a little boy, young teenager.
Yes.
And I didn't know if I would dare to come and leave all the family behind. And my husband said, yes, but I can handle that. And he also had a very big job. And he said, it's a great opportunity for your career, so go ahead, I will take care of them. And that's what he did. And of course, I couldn't see my sons, my 3 sons, every night. I could only come once a week and over the weekend. So I transform quantity into quality.
Okay.
But they did great, my sons. They are now young adults, very happy in life. They made brilliant studies, and I'm very proud of them.
Well done.
So this is something we can do, and I would really like to encourage women dare to do it. And I would also encourage men
To support.
To support. That's the first, really the first step to do.
Thank you so much. It's been a wonderful conversation, Franciane.
Thank you.
I always end with the same question. What other passions do you have?
Oh my God, passion.
Yes.
That's a tricky question. It has always been a pain, when writing your CV, what is your passion? I love a lot of things. I have many interests like music, opera, visiting museums, foreign countries and cultures, but I couldn't call it a passion because for me, if you're passionate, you have to be an expert, which I'm not in all these things. So I wouldn't say a passion. What I really enjoy, what gives me energy is to be surrounded with my family, my friends, and that gives me a lot of energy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for
Thank
such
you.
a wonderful conversation.
Bye-bye.
Dank om naar deze episode van de CFO Podcast te hebben gekeken. Volgende week zit ik weer aan tafel met een straffe CFO, CEO of thought leader om u te informeren, te triggeren en wie weet te inspireren. Tot volgende week.